right now we've got another brand new segment for you, which we will only be able to do once every year. It is 2018. You know, I apologize if I'm just letting you know that right now, but wake up, it's 2018. But we can't really get into all of the 2018 discussions without talking about some of the awesome things that happened in 2017, and I thought today would be a nice day to kind of, we did the rocket and ray guns and we awarded all kinds of stuff, and we had lots of people joining in with us, our friends from Happy Console Gamer and Kind of Funny, and also a lot of the sponsors out there, and Ben and Jose and Steve joined us as well, and I love the way it all came together, but it was kind of a summarized viewpoint of all of the best games of last year. I thought it would be cool for me to talk about my personal 10 favorite games of 2017, and I'm going to start with number 10, which was Cuphead, and this was an incredible Canadian-made, go Canada, action-adventure game, which is incredibly brutal, but as you are no doubt aware, it is an absolutely outstanding production through and through. This 1930s cartoon art style took all of our collective breaths away. But when I had this playing on my my 4K television, and I had it sort of just blaring at full volume, the other standout in this, as great as the visuals are, the audio and the music is incredible. I was just completely transported. This was just an incredible work of art, and I think back to me as a younger player and sort of thinking about all of the sort of dreams of being able to play something that looked like a cartoon. And, you know, we never had anything remotely close to that. Lots of cool, you know, animation styles and rotoscoping and things like that, but nothing close to what Cuphead did. So Cuphead was my 10th favorite game of 2017. My 9th favorite game of 2017 is a Nintendo Switch title, which you'll be able to see right there. It was ARMS, and ARMS I think is a little divisive. I don't know if everybody loves this game, but I was really just blown away by the character design, the fact that everything ran at 60 frames a second, and it looked so slick, and the animation was solid, and there was a lot of diversity in the types of characters and the types of animations and the types of environments. And then you reconcile with the fact that you've got these projectile weapon-based, almost like you're playing a first-person shooter, with different you know, attributes attached to each of the gloves that you have, changing up the strategy immensely as you're playing, especially when you play together. And I think this was one of the reasons why I fell in love with ARMS. This 2017 was a year that I really started to work quite a bit with Johnny Millennium from Happy Console Gamer. And John is an awesome guy, and he is exactly who you see on camera. He is as passionate and optimistic and joyful around video games as he presents himself to be, and I think I am too. And when we started playing these, it seemed to be quite a few Switch games, but we played ARMS together, and we really had a blast. We had so much fun. We were Skyping with each other so we could see each other's faces as we were playing a multiplayer experience, and it was just so damn fun. But I also played this thing a lot when I was on the road and just wanted to have fun with my Switch. I just was really impressed. I didn't play it so much with the Joy-Con controllers. I would just use the Pro controller, and I had a blast. It was a super fun game. So if I'm thinking about the games that I had the most fun with last year, ARMS is number 9. Number 8 is Sonic Mania, and I'm going to put this full screen for you guys here too. This was another fantastic treat from Sega that I played on the Switch, and I did do quite a bit of traveling last year, so the Switch became a very well utilized machine for me. But I just love this, and I love the story of how Sonic Mania came together too, with you know, all of the people that worked on the game coming from you know, the fan community and building stuff that eventually got attention from Sega, and they said, yeah, okay, sure, we're going to sort of hand over the keys to the kingdom and let you build your own 2D adventure. And it really was just, you know, a direct correlation to all the stuff that I fell in love with on the Sega Genesis. I have such fond memories of the original Sonic games, particularly the first one, that you know, when I played this, I cared, you know, there was like this emotional connection to playing this thing. It has fantastic music, fantastic visuals that are, you know, true to the source, and it just played perfectly. And it became this excellent addition to the Switch library as well. And of course, you can get it on every other platform, which I think also makes Sonic Mania one of the standout games of 2017. So that was number 8 for me. Number 7 is Injustice 2, and I'm going to play a little bit of the trailer for. I think this is the fight. The DLC for the Fighter Pack 3, which shows off a little bit of the Teen Titans, and I think Raiden's in there, and you know, we know that Hellboy is a part of this collection. We know that Black Manta is a part of this collection. We know that not so much the Fighter Pack 3, but the entirety of Injustice 2. The thing that has blown me away about this game is that it never stops serving up content. And all throughout the year, not only did you get this incredible story that was like, you know, it was so good that it made me go and buy all of the Injustice comic books, and I got completely addicted to all of the Injustice books. I think I'm caught up to all of the issues, but I was just, you know, plowing through them because I just love this idea of heroes being turned against heroes and Superman feeling like he's all powerful. But the fighting mechanics are incredibly sound and fun, but they give you this, you know, tons of great single-player story content. Then they throw in character after character. The fact that they finally threw the Atom in there was a big deal for me too. I've always wanted them to play with you know, size differences in the mechanics, and they've been able to do that. Now that we've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm dying for that update as well. I can't wait. As soon as we get that in, we will definitely be doing a revisit to the game, but I plan on streaming some more Injustice 2. But that's why, look at that, Atom and Enchantress and the Turtles, so damn cool. Number 7 was Injustice 2. Number 6, my favorite games of 2017 is Assassin's Creed Origins, and this was an absolute gorgeous stunner of a game. This is Ubisoft Montreal putting together, I think it's the strongest Assassin's Creed game, but obviously there's been so many of them that it kind of gets lost a little bit in the noise around this, but it was a perfect setting. Ancient Egypt is fascinating. The pyramids look incredible. All of the different environments that you get to sort of work your way through are you know, gorgeous and captivating and fascinating and mysterious. You know, and the side missions were interesting as well. If there's one complaint I will level at Assassin's Creed Origins is that it's a bit grindy, and you feel, especially coming in on the tail end of some of the games that I'll talk about in a little bit here, it just felt like it was maybe overstaying its welcome a little bit. But I think that's kind of the challenge of modern day AAA development, is you just got to build and build and build and put as many cool things into a title as you possibly can. But I think the RPG mechanics are a good move. The ship combat was actually really cool. You know, I feel like there's so many characters in the game. Some of them get lost a little bit, but it's fun to murder them. It's fun to assassinate them. So I had a ton of fun with my number 6, and God, it's gorgeous. I've taken so many photos when I play that game as well. And I played it on the PS4 Pro and also on the Xbox One X, and it looks incredible on both of those. My 5th favorite game, so we're getting into our bottom 5 here, is a title that might surprise you. It's from Image and Form out of Sweden. It's called Steamworld Dig 2. And I've put hours and hours and hours into this title. It is so addictive and so cool. I love the first Steamworld Dig, which I played on the 3DS, and then it came to every other platform as well. But this was tuned. I played it on the Switch. It's another perfect marriage on the Switch. It kind of brings in a little bit of the Metroidvania explore and beef up and then retraverse into areas kind of gameplay, and fuses that with a little boulder dash and a little dig dug, which was so... games where you get enjoyment out of just moving through the world are the best kinds of games, where you can just sort of tinker and improvise and come up with stuff. And that's what you do in SteamWorld. You know, the fact that you carve your own path into the environment is so exceptionally fun. And then they've got this kind of cyber, punky, steampunky kind of twist on all of this stuff. And there's some dark edges around this sort of colorful, cartoony graphics, and cool music, fun characters, lots of great little surprises, interesting boss fights. Can't say enough good things about Steamworld Dig 2. And I think you can get that on every platform as well, and I suggest you do. Number 4, while we're on the subject of Metroidvania games, let's talk about a real one. This is Metroid Samus Returns on the 3DS. And I have always been a big fan of the 2D scrolling Metroid games. Super Metroid is probably the first game that I go to when I either plug in a Super Nintendo or when I got the SNES Classic. That was the first game I wanted to try out. I've bought that game several times on previous Nintendo platforms. It's amazing, and I've always wanted Nintendo to revisit the 2D scrolling, and the fact that they got a Spanish developer instead of a traditional Japanese internal developer to do this was a little bit like, oh my God, I hope they do an all right job. But they picked a company with some real pedigree. I forget the name of the developers, escaping my mind right now. But they handled this sort of 2.5 3D and 2D mechanics wonderfully, and I just got completely addicted. This was the game that I couldn't remove or try anything else on my 3DS until I beat this thing. And I packed it around for every day pretty much, and I would get a little farther, open up a new area, get some new abilities, and I just kept playing and beating tons of Metroids and fighting tons of bosses, and I had a smile on my face the whole damn time, even when it became very challenging and, I'd have to restart levels again over and over again. Incredibly, exceptionally cool, and I honestly hope that Nintendo doesn't forget about 2D Metroid as we go into Metroid 4. So that is, speaking of 4, that's my 4th favorite of the year. My 3rd favorite of 2017 was a little game, not so little, a little game exclusive to the PlayStation 4 called Horizon Zero Dawn, which I think is the best reason to have a PS4 Pro at this point, and a 4K television. You're not going to believe your eyes. It's like you're like seeing the world through brand new glasses or something. I mean, the level of detail is absolutely stunning. All of the foliage and the animals that you have to hunt down, and these machines that you have to face up against, and even the human encounters, and then like, it's really incredible the level of detail going into a village and then having a conversation with one of the civilians inside of a village. And just seeing how much artistry and nuance is in all of the facial captured animation. It's so impeccably rendered and handled, and it really sets a high bar. And when you look at this game compared to other fantastic action RPGs, and we had a ton of them, Assassins is in there, and definitely Persona 5, and Nier Automata, and there's tons of them, and I'm sure you're listening to all the things that I'm forgetting about right now, but there's something, production-wise about this game that just takes us to a new sort of era in games. Like, things are going to be different after Horizon Zero Dawn. And I think one of the surprising things is that it came from a company that has made fantastic shooters in the past. I'm actually missing Killzone, but Guerrilla Games was not the first company that you would probably rattle off when you think about the game that they built for us here. This is sensational. And I completely misread it, too. Every demo that I saw at previous E3s and things like that, I was like, okay, it's probably going to be fun for a while, but it's going to devolve into, just a bit of an action thing. I had no idea that this was as expansive a role-playing experience with, as much environmental diversity as this thing offers, and all kinds of great mystery to kind of unlock and unravel. Phenomenal experience. Wonderful, wonderful game. And I haven't gone to play the Frozen Wilds yet, but that's on my list to do very soon. Now let's talk about number 2, and I think you guys could probably figure out what that is. This was the year of Mario in 3D returning to a Nintendo platform, and holy crap, what a joy Super Mario Odyssey is. I had conversations with Nintendo folks over the year, and obviously I've you know what my number one choice is, but I talked about how much I loved Breath of the Wild, and I thought, how is Super Mario Odyssey going to even come close to that? And I kept hearing that internally at Nintendo, people were liking Mario Odyssey even more than Zelda, and I couldn't believe it. But I understand it now. This is a game that is effortlessly enjoyable, and it's filled with so much surprise around every corner. There's some kind of new widget or some kind of new thing that you uncover, and you feel so proud of yourself for being able to do that. And it's also a perfect game to just pick up and play for a few hours on a flight or something like that, and just see how many new things you can uncover, and then you can pack it away and play on your next trip. I mean, you can enjoy this on the television as well, but there's something about its sort of bite-sizedness that makes this a perfect portable game, but it's also a robust, massive experience that when you think you're completed everything, you realize, wait a minute, no, I've got a gazillion more moons that I've got to go out and find as well. And also just weird, quirky things like the idea to become these different characters and these different objects. It puts a smile on your face, And also, I don't think I've ever had more fun shopping for outfits than I have in Super Mario Odyssey, although Zelda is a close second for the costume changes. But Zelda is not a close second in any other list of mine because it is my favorite game of 2017. And as I've expressed before, it is also my favorite game of all time. And I'm playing still through the Champions Ballad right now, the new DLC, which is a weird thing for me to be saying and talking about Nintendo's DLC. But for a couple reasons. One, this game offers so much just out of the box. And the idea that we want more is kind of insane, but God, we want more. And I actually hope that in this version of Hyrule that Nintendo has created for us, we get more DLC, because I feel like there's so many other nooks and crannies. I do wish we could start to play with other characters if we're going to get into more DLC as well, though. It'd be interesting to kind of change things up from just purely Link's perspective to some of the other great characters that they've introduced in here. Now, this is a game of you kind of you create your own story in a lot of ways. I mean, you pick up remnants and pieces and snippets of backstory, and you uncover sort of a generalized kind of viewpoint of the mystery. It's definitely not as granular a storytelling achievement as either Assassin's Creed Origins or Horizon Zero Dawn. But I think it's that mystery that makes Zelda so personal and so satisfying, and so much this about your own solitary trip into this escapist world, into this escapism, and so rewarding. I mean, whether you play for 15 minutes and you just go into, which is impossible, but you can. You go into the forest and I don't know, you find a Korok seed, or you cook up a cool recipe or something, or you play for extended hours and you're finding new shrines that took a while to get because you've got to do some, maybe some inane side quests. Utilizing all these external tools that you have, like the magnetic abilities and the time stop abilities and things like that. So much freedom, so many cool ways that the game plays with physics. This game has completely changed the way that I think about landscape in video games. I want to be able to climb everything. It really kind of made playing the last Uncharted game a very different experience for me, because I felt hemmed in, even though that's a pretty expansive experience as well. But Zelda has no walls. Zelda has no barriers. You basically can do what you want to do. And yeah, a profound achievement and a shocking one. And what blows me away, too, is that you can play this on the Wii U, like, what a send-off for that platform, which was a good platform that nobody really cared about. But, yeah, this is a defining moment in video game history for sure, and we're going to see a lot more that is influenced by The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. My favorite game of 2017, my favorite game of all time.